Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and the next expansion for Hearthstone, Pharaohs of Uldum, is nearly upon us, so we can look at the cards finally. So if you go to my collection, and you click crafting, and then click include uncrafted cards, and then you filter down to Uldum, you can see the new expansions. I started with the neutral cards, and we've worked our way through all the other expansions hero classes, except for up to priests. So today we'll be looking at the rogue cards. So we're nearly 2/3 of the way done, but boy am I running out of steam too. I would also like to say that I feel like the Hearthstone team, what's left of it, since it seems like everybody's fleeing a sinking ship there, is particularly not releasing this expansion with a lot of fanfare or warning. I'm doing this on a Saturday when normally I would be doing this. It used to be on Thursdays or Tuesday. As far as I can tell, this release came out on Friday, and I could have done this on Friday, but my streaming schedule for playing regular Hearthstone is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so I guess I could have bumped the streaming schedule to make a special series of videos. But releasing something on a Friday is releasing something out to die as far as news cycles. You always put good news or interesting news out on Tuesday. That way the reporters have done all their work for the weekend on Monday, and they're ready to receive new news and talk about it for an entire business week. And so you put good news on Tuesday, you put terrible news at the end of the day on Friday. So why Hearthstone and Blizzard is treating this expansion as kind of bad news, I don't know. And they're really not putting out press conferences. They're really not doing the level of advertisement. They've never really done the level of advertisement they needed to do for this game, frankly. But in particular now, it seems like less and less. But I'm getting into a rant, and I'm trying to race through these because I can barely keep my eyes open at this point. I've spent so much time on this. So let's look at the first card for the Rogue. We have a 1 mana spell. Technically it's a quest card called Bizarre Burglary. It's a legendary card. I am having trouble focusing my eyes to even see what this is supposed to be. I feel like this is a chicken with a mask over its eyes, and I'm having trouble figuring out what this is in the background in the image. It kind of sucks when you don't have the card crafted. You really can't see the art. There's no way to double click the art and get it in a full screen, even if you do own the card. It's something that they could easily do, even if it just kind of lazily took you to a website where there was a high resolution image, because there's really not a lot of reasons why you would need a high resolution image for this art. It would be nice to celebrate the art more. Anyways, this quest card your quest is to add 4 cards from other classes to your hand, which, playing as a rogue, is something that is a basic ability that you can definitely pull off. And your reward, if you do that, is the Ancient Blades, which I assume is a weapon, but I have no idea how good of a weapon it is. So, like all the previous quest cards, might be great, might be awful. Next, we have a 1 mana, 1 attack, 2 health beast minion called the Pharaohs Cat, or the Pharaoh Cat. I guess no S there, no possessive. Battlecry, add a random reborn minion to your hand. This is the first card to really have any kind of synergy with the reborn key phrase. I assume the reborn key phrase means that a minion resummons itself at the end of your turn. I assume that it does that every time and not just once. The ability to double battle cries does exist. There's at least 1 card that will do that. So then you would add 2 random reborn minions to your hand. But unless there was some other card that buffed reborn minions or did something else with reborn minions, the synergy kind of ends there. And I don't really know what the value is of having a reborn minion, particularly a random one, since they all seem to be pretty low level minions that really aren't doing much. The only thing maybe you could say is if we eventually saw that a lot, and I mean a lot, of the cards in Hearthstone had reborn in them, you could then play one minion on the first or second turn, and it would stick around for the entirety of the game, and it would change the focus of Hearthstone in the long run from being a game where you play tons of minions and they're just cannon fodder and they die and they disappear and they go into the theoretical graveyard a lot, to the point where they never die and they never disappear, which that would be definitely a different game. I don't know if that's a faster game or a better game, but it would definitely change things. But I doubt we will see that. I doubt we'll see enough things with Reborn for that to make sense. And you still can only have 7 minions on your side of the field at one time, so that would pretty much guarantee that by the 7th or 8th turn you couldn't summon anything newer. There's no way to get a minion off the field easily once it's already there. Next we have a 1-mana spell, Plague of Madness. Each player equips a 2/2 knife with poison. One assumes that there's nothing else special about that knife. It does 2 damage, it has 2 durability, 2 uses, and every time it does damage to a minion, it will kill it with poison. Yeah, I don't really see a great reason why you'd want to play that. Might be a way to turn the game around late game. Next we have a 2-mana spell called Clever Disguise. Add 2 random spells from another class to your hand. This is just a standard steel card strategy that works and synergizes with the quest of adding 4 cards from other classes. Next we have a 2-mana 1-attack 2-health minion called the Wool Kick Master. Whenever you play a combo card, add a random combo card to your hand. That's not terrible, particularly if you're playing a combo deck. I don't know if that drastically would change anything. Again, because it's just adding a random card, as most of these cards effects they give you cards do, it's not a strategy that a professional Hearthstone player would probably play with. This is our second weapon. It's a little surprising to see 2 weapons added in one expansion, for as little as people seem to care about weapons. It's a 3-mana 2-attack 2 durability weapon called the Hook Schmitter. Centaur, I believe is, yeah, Centaur, that's how you pronounce that. It also has a combo to gain +2 attack, so you play a coin on the second turn, you could play this and then you would get the combo and have a 4-attack 2 durability weapon. Seems otherwise just to be a basic weapon, not doing anything special, which is fine. We kind of need more basic weapons for each hero class, come to think of it. Next we have a 4-mana 4-attack 4-health pirate, which this is the first pirate in this expansion, and pirates, like so many minion classes, seem to be forgotten about pretty much as soon as the first expansion introduces them. So getting 1 more pirate's nice, but it's probably not enough pirates to make it logical to really want to play a pirate deck. Can't really say anything else besides that. The Sanskrit Sapper has a death rattle. Return a random enemy minion to your opponent's hand. That's not terrible. Like, it's even on the power curve. 4 mana for 4 attack, 4 health. It's pirate, so it synergizes with pirates, and it has a death rattle, so when it dies, that it will pick a random enemy minion and add it to your opponent's hand, thus costing your opponent more mana to summon it a second time. Next we have a 4 mana spell called Shadow of Death. Choose a minion and shuffle 3 shadows into your deck that summon a copy when drawn. It seems like that is a overly complicated spell card. I don't see a way you'd really make great use of that. Let's see. You can choose your own minion, so you can remove kind of a randomness aspect to it. And you could play this at a point where you have no more cards, and then you would just have 3 shadows in your deck, and then you could play another card to draw those 3 cards. But I don't really know what card you would want to duplicate so badly that that would make sense and be worth the effort. Yeah. I don't think this really is worth it for the weirdness around it. There are easier ways, if not cheaper ways, to duplicate a minion. Next we have a 5 mana, 5 attack, 5 spell, 5 health legendary minion called Unka the Buried. Again, this does not feel like a League of Explorers minion. This feels like a mummy minion legendary card. So half of these legendaries seem to be on one side and half of these seem to be on the other side. And who knows who's on the right side of history. Unka the Buried has a battle cry: change each death rattle minion in your hand into a 1/1 that costs 1. There might be a synergy to this, but I can't think of it right now at all. Like, it's not terrible on the power curve to just play this for 5 mana to get a 5 attack and 5 health. But unless you were playing with Stalag and Fugen, which are Nexramas wild cards, I don't really know what combination of 4 or 5 death rattle cards you would have to have in your hand would make any sense to play all of this. See, what the final goal is just passing me by as far as what the reason for that would be. So because I can't really understand it, because this is overly complicated, I feel like this is a really weak legendary minion, where the 5 previous legendary minions that have been hero specific for each hero class have been very, very powerful. So that's weird. And I don't feel like on the meta challenge that rogues have been particularly overpowered, so that doesn't make sense either. The final card we have is a 5 mana, 3 attack, 5 health minion called the Bizarre Mugger. It has rush. We haven't seen a ton of rush cards. That just means it can attack the first time if it attacks a minion, but it can't attack the enemy hero on the turn that is played. It also has a battle cry to add a random minion from another class to your hand. Yeah, I don't know if that's really worth it for that lower amount of attack. So far, I would say the rogue character classes cards are the least impressive ones we've seen in the expansion by far. Like, they were very balanced on the first 5, but rogue seems weak as far as what you're getting. And I'll just kind of leave it at that. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.